right, beautiful, beautiful way to start. Beautiful music, beautiful people, beautiful day out there. So we should all have a beautiful experience living life today, carrying that joy with us into all the things we do today. Is there anybody here from another unity? Okay. Is there anybody here for the first time? Oh, keep your hand up. All right. These people are here for the first time. I want to give them a gift. Thank you. Well, we have a special experience today. We have the opportunity to listen to our minister, who is our minister in training, who is Steve Hayes. And we're all looking forward to it. He's got a great talk titled, The Green Dragon. So look forward to this talk. You're going to love it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Boulder. As Jack just explained, today's talk is going to be given by Steve Hayes, who is an awesome, dynamic person. You will love his talk. But next week, Santisha will be back. She's just taking a week off after Easter, and trust me, it is much deserved. But she is going to be hopping right back into action immediately starting this Tuesday. She's starting a new women's book group led by her and her friend Deb King. The title of the book is Walking Home. It's $85 for the book, for the whole thing. The book is $25. We have it in the bookstore. Her last book group got such a good turnout, and there was so much, people enjoyed it so much they decided to do another one right away. So definitely check that out. You can sign up for it in the bookstore, online. If you have any questions about it, please find any one of us on the staff, and we can tell you all about it. And outside of that, I'd like to say I'm going to bring Norma and Steve Sheets out here onto the stage, and we're going to have a little call to prayer. Norma is going to lead us in song, and Steve is going to come out into the crowd. And this is the moment where if you have someone that you would like to have a prayer prayed over for an entire month at Unity Village, you can write it down on a sheet of paper. You don't even have to put the name, or actually put the name, but you don't have to put the reason of why you're praying for this person. Just put their name in this box that Steve's going to come down and collect from you. And it will be prayed over for a month at Unity Village. All right, thank you.
You are the air I breathe. You are the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me.
Okay, now we're going to stand and we're going to sing about our awesome God. First, he's going to do a drum beat that's going to get you going. Woo! Rebecca, thank you. It was so awesome. And you were awesome. Great energy.
Thank you very much for joining us on that song. That was awesome. No pun intended there at all. For those of you who don't know, this is Rebecca Abraxas. We love having her on our stage. She's going to give us one of her numbers now. But also this Friday and every third Friday of the month, she does an illuminated sound circle that is just an amazing event. So you can pre-sign up for it for this Friday. It's $20 if you pre-sign up. It's $25 at the door. But check it out. It's this Friday, 6:30. If you like what she does right now, just wait till you see what she's going to do to you on Friday. Get 'em, Rebecca.
There's a time when I walk into another's life and we share the light until I hear Spirit say, I'm guiding you on another way, walk away. Those color glasses have gotten unclear. When I shed my fear, the energy it finds me and I start to finally get clear. Walk away. Walk away, walk away into the light, into the sunshine, into the light, going into the sunshine, into the light. Walk away, walk away. The energy is shifting. Trying hard to stay. The anchor isn't lifted, oh, the current is too strong. I'm being pulled follow the law. Walk away, walk away, walk away, walk away into the light, into the sunshine, going into the light, into the sunshine, into the light. Walk away. Shines on my doorstep. Walk away, walk away, walk away to the light. Going into the sunshine, into the light. Going into the sunshine, into the light, into the sunshine, into the light. Walk away. Walk away.
Thank you, Rebecca. I just noticed that I thought I took a random mug, but maybe they're trying to get me prepared for being a minister because it says, "What is a weekend?" So I guess Spirit works in mysterious ways. All right. The universe is a green dragon. I love the symbols of the dragon. I mean, the power, the mystery, the majesty. It just infuses me with, awe and wonder. Reading about them in the movies. I would also say that it's because of awe and wonder that I am standing here today. And today's talk, I want to hopefully impart some awe and wonder to you. Because I think when we are in a place of awe and wonder, it opens our minds and allows us to embrace new ways of thinking. So before I begin, I want to give credit to one of my big fans in life, which is Brian Swimme. That's where I got the title from one of his books. And he is a scientist and a cosmologist. And 20 years ago, I went to a lot of retreats with him and read all his books. It inspired me to go back to school and, again, to be here. So why dragons? Well, first off, I think the dragon is a perfect metaphor for the cosmos. Like it's hard to understand the cosmos or the whole universe because we have nothing else to compare it to. It's not like this is the wonky universe and there's a different universe. We only have one universe. So we need to kind of give it something that embraces the fact that the universe is mysterious and unknown. But I like it particularly because if we use the dragon as a metaphor for spirit in the universe, then it's a reminder to us that God and spirit is not just, love and light. It's also power. It's also understanding. It's also, what moves the planets and makes the sun shine. We tend to forget that powerful part of spirit. So, perfect metaphor for the cosmos. And dragons make great stories because they inspire people. I mean, stories in general tend to have a huge impact on civilization. I think they could actually make or break a country or even the world. Here in the United States, we wouldn't be the United States if there wasn't the story of the manifest destiny. Because everyone from around the world had this idea like, oh, if we go to America, we're going to pick our own destiny. And just people from all over the world came just for that. But we need news stories because we're in a critical time. And I'm going to give you a quote from a person by the name of Thomas Berry, who was actually Brian Swimme's mentor. The deepest crisis experienced by any society are those moments of change when the story becomes inadequate for meeting the survival demands of a present situation. Such, it seems to me, is the situation we must deal with in this late 20th century. How about the early 21st century, several times over? So we need new stories. Third reason why I chose dragons as a metaphor is that they are a mascot for this whole new way of thinking that I want to introduce you to today, and it's called the new cosmology. And it's based on the understanding of the whole universe, the science about the Big Bang and how galaxies affect other galaxies. It's a very edgy and current science. And my take is that bringing in new cosmology into unity will complement, because it confirms and complements everything that is in unity. But we are also trying to evolve and reach more people with unity, so I think bringing in new cosmology could have that effect. So here is a definition of what new cosmology is. The new cosmology, also called the new story, the great story, the epic of evolution and deep time perspective, is a perspective on the universe that offers a way to integrate scientific, spiritual, personal, and cultural viewpoints into a meaningful whole. So the new cosmology is one story that we all can agree upon based on the updated understanding of the universe. One story, not one ring. We're not going to go there. We're going to go for the one story. So again, the new cosmology confirms and builds upon what unity teaches. So what are dragons? I'm going to tell you what dragons are by telling you my personal experience with dragon, because I actually have had a lot of personal experience with dragons, believe it or not. So my first dragon that I met on top of a mountain in the Sierra Nevada mountains. I was 20 years old, and I was like a fish out of water because the religion I grew up with just disbanded. And so I had some aching doubts in my mind, like, whoa, is everything they taught, is there some parts of it seem kind of huey, or, vague. And so I went up this mountain and I said, God, when I get up there, you are so going to show yourself in a really exotic way so that there's absolutely no doubt that you exist. Like flying elephant or two-headed eagle or something like that. I'm like, this is your chance, God. Just let me know that you exist. And it was challenging. This is like a really big mountain on one of the highest places in the Sierra Nevadas. And I got up there and I was waiting for it. Nothing happened. There wasn't any big lightning bolt or funky animal. And I sat down, but then I realized that was such a high point that I could see 360 degrees around. And it was so beautiful. I mean, I could see valleys and the clouds and all the different water everywhere. And it occurred to me, like I had an epiphany, like, wow, that's God. God is in everything. I mean, all around me. And how much more powerful that it is than not just one little, funky animal. And so that was what I think, my first experience with the dragon and with the understanding of that Spirit and God is the entire universe. Side note, though, was dragons can be challenging, because right after I had that epiphany and I had rock climbed to the top of this thing, rained. It started raining. Any rock climbers out there? Granite with wet is not good for rock climbers. So You have to wait for another talk, but there's a whole story about going down the mountain. I kissed the ground when I got to the bottom of that mountain. And this fits with, of course, with the unity principle. Number one, we have 5 core principles. Number one is God is good and everywhere present. And I'll give you another example. One of the bigger influencers in unity is Emily Cady, and she put it this way: God then is the substance or the real thing standing under every visible form of life, love, intelligence, or power. Each rock, tree, animal, every visible thing is a manifestation of the one Spirit God, differing only in degree of manifestation. And each of these numberless modes of manifestation are individualities, however insignificant, contains the whole. So it turns out this idea of Spirit being in everything is not just in unity, and not just in this new thinking called new cosmology. It's actually in a lot of different cultures, and actually very much in the Western culture. I want to play you a video from a movie called Excalibur. Has anyone seen Excalibur? When I grew up in the church that I grew up with, it was used as a spiritual teaching technique because it's packed with meaning about masculine and feminine and nature, how we relate to the universe. So let me just give you the context. In this scene that I'm about to show you, Arthur just becomes king. And remember, Arthur is like the symbol of masculine and feminine energies in one person coming together. So he's just kind of weighed down by like, wow, I'm king, and what am I going to do? So you can see what happens here. Did you notice how when he saw the dragon and all the implications, his ego just went off? And he was like, what? And Merlin's like, no, the way you connect with this is to relax and breathe, let go of all that busyness. I would love to sleep in the arms of a dragon. Doesn't that sound so good? I want to be able to say, like, okay, at 12:15 we're having our discussion, and at 12:30 we're all going to move in the fellowship hall and sleep in the arms of the dragon. But the point here is, yes, we can sleep in the arms of the dragon anytime, any place. There's that intelligence, there's that power that we can just drop in, like Merlin was saying, and just be at peace and breathe and connect. So any moment we have that capacity to rest in the arms of the dragon. The second dragon that I met, I didn't have any idea how big it was before I met this dragon. I accepted a job that was thousands of miles away. And no one I knew had ever had this job before. And so I flew. It was actually down in the Southwest. And it turns out this job required me to travel all around the world and live out of one suitcase. Just one small, tiny suitcase. And you think that could be really hard, right? But it was so simple and so freeing just to have one suitcase. My job was actually like half-time, and the other half the time I just did community service, like working with high schoolers or working with senior citizens or cleaning up a beach. I spent a whole year doing that, and honestly, it's the happiest time in my whole life. I think it was because of the simplicity and being of service. And I honestly had some image about me just flying around the world, just living large. So maybe in this case, I didn't just meet the dragon, but I became the dragon. Like the dragon, possessed me. Okay, so I'm a minister student here, and I'm talking about dragons. What does the Bible say about dragons? There actually are a lot of dragons in the Bible. Mostly they get slain. But Charles Fillmore wrote a great, went through the whole Bible and did a metaphysical, index of everything in there. And he does talk about what wings are. And this is from a website called truthunity.net. This is a great place to go to get anything about unity. It has old writings from Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, all this stuff. That's really small, isn't it? I'll have to read it to you. The metaphysical meaning of wings symbolizes freedom from material limitations. That's what I had, because I was just living out of a small suitcase, and I was being of service. So I think when you really connect with Spirit or with the dragon, it's going to guide you to live a simpler life and to have a life of service. The third dragon that I bumped into, well, actually, it ran right at me. I didn't necessarily pick it. What's wonderful about Unity and the position I have is there's just a lot of growth opportunities. So one morning, early on in my time here, I was talking to Santisha, and I thought, it'd be a great idea to have this community-wide book study where everyone has home study groups, and we have a study guide, and we have trainings, and all these ideas, just shooting them out. And Santisha said, yes, right now. We're putting it on the calendar right now. And I definitely had this fear because I had just come up with this massive project. And so literally it was almost like this huge dragon just coming toward me, you have to do this entire project by yourself, and the claws of logistics and the flame of whatever. But I realized that was a choice point. That was a choice point where I could choose to address that dragon with fear, or I could try to ride the dragon. Okay, this dragon it's a challenge, but the universe is here to support me, and so I could embrace this challenge and ride that dragon. And so I did. I did embrace that, and it was challenging. So the dragons, when you honestly tell the universe, hey, I want to grow and I want to develop, what happens? The universe throws things at you. But it went well. It was, and I hope to do it again. But it involved a lot of work. But that's the point. In our lives, when challenges appear, we have that choice point of choosing fear or faith. And we just remember that those challenges are often the universe supporting us and guiding us to our highest good. And if you choose fear in those moments when a dragon comes up to you, it's going to cause a lot of hardship and resistance. And this is actually one of my favorite quotes from Myrtle Fillmore, just reminding me to put Spirit first. When you truly go to the Christ within yourself, instead of to your own thoughts, you will receive whatever you need. And unless you heed this instruction, drop the unwise things you have been insisting upon and begin to think of God in you and about you as the total fullness of every good. If you don't do that, you will seem to go through an eternity of confusion and lack and hungering. All right, one more dragon. The fourth dragon that I know of actually has been with me all my life. In fact, this fourth dragon has been with me for 1,000,000 years. I say that because one way of looking at the universe is as one big living entity, as a dragon. And this new cosmology didn't come up with this. There are several cultures that actually use the dragon as a metaphor for the universe. But I think back that when the Big Bang happened, that energy, spirit, or that dragon was dreaming of us, dreaming here of like someday we're going to have humans, And so that's came about in the Big Bang. And then billions of years later, there was a star a few million miles away from here that imploded and exploded. And it threw all its debris onto the earth. And that is the only reason why we're all here today. Literally, every one of us is just made up of exploded star particles, because complex molecules can only happen under intense heat. So only because that star sacrificed itself and died are we here today. So that dragon knew that, like, oh, okay, I'm going to let this star go because I'm still holding on to that dream of having humans and life on Earth. So Big Bang. And then later on, I remember my parents, didn't make me feel too good, but they're like, we weren't sure if we wanted to have a third child. But then I think that the dragon was whispering in their ear, yeah, you're going to have a child. And so the dragon was there to help me come into this life. So the key here is that because this force is with us like through all the time, it's guiding us way more than we think. The things that happen we're here today, right now, because the love of the universe from millions of years ago. Okay, so I was born to my parents, but then I think of a hardship. When I was in high school, I had a really hard time in my sophomore year and got pretty depressed. The school was a really bad situation. But I dug into it, leaned into it, and having gone through that experience, I have skills from that experience that I've been able to use the rest of my life. So even in that hardship, where I got kicked out of 2 high schools, by the way, it was that dragon, that love of the universe that said, yes, we know this is hard, but you need this experience. And when, years from now, and that was like, 30 years ago, so it was that kind of vision. And then more recently, when I moved here, I had a really high-paying, good corporate job, kind of a dream job, really enjoyed it, and then the company kind of went under a little bit, and I lost my high-paying corporate job, which was, very, knocked me off balance. But that was the dragon too, because I'm so happy right now to be outside the corporate world. I would not be able to pursue my passion if that did not happen. So that was the universe expressing, loving me in that moment. And now we come to this moment right here, right? We have all this time, but right here, right now, I think as a community, we need to listen to the universe. And there is that intelligence, that wisdom, that vision that's been around for millions of years that is guiding us. So I just part of the reason why I'm here is I so look forward to how this community is going to listen to Spirit and transform the world and have this community just grow and grow. So it's exciting for me to see how we are going to interact with that dragon. All right, Steve. Talk to myself. All right, Steve, those are good dragon stories, but how are they actually practical? I mean, unity is all about practical things. Well, let's look at that. I already told you about the resting in the arms of the dragon. That is something, again, we can do at any moment. It's so important for us not to hang out in that stress, that sympathetic nervous system, because it affects your digestion, your thinking, everything. So in our lives, we can, whenever we're stressed or worried, we can just breathe and rest in the arms of the dragon. Even a few seconds of that makes a dramatic effect on your body. If we want to have more happiness in our lives, then, like that dragon, simplicity and service. Remember, I was the happiest time in my life when I was going around and being of service. So volunteering here, volunteering somewhere else. When you're in the flow, you're also in the flow of happiness. If you want more productivity or more joy in your life, then one, you need to accept that all these dragons are going to appear in your life. The universe is going to be throwing things at you. And if you're in resistance, remember that quote from Myrtle. So we have to accept the fact that, yes, that's part of the life here on earth, is that we have these challenges. But we can also invoke dragons. We can also say, I am going to make that career change. I am going to, move to Colorado. I'm going to not try to go back to the corporate world. And yeah, it's a challenge, but when you put that out to the universe, there's an influx of blessing and intelligence. So there's third thing. I think another really important practice is gratitude. I mean, if you think about how every one of us here today is, we are the end of a long list of total success. Think about it. All our ancestors were successful from running away from the tigers and all that. So we are all the pinnacle of success. And so we could be so grateful that we are in touch and guided by this intelligence. Gratitude, I think, next to love, is probably the strongest emotion that we can do to affect our lives. So if you don't have a daily gratitude practice, I highly recommend it. My favorite one is just when you get into bed, list like 5 things you're grateful for before you close your eyes. Lastly, the thing I want to say is, knowing that this intelligence is here, it's important for us to put spirit first. Like before you speak, before you act, you want to have your check-in point be spirit first. And that also includes turning things over to spirit. We don't have to have all the answers, right? We just have to be willing. The Course in Miracles says that. We don't need to know all the ins and outs, even of our own history or what's happening in the world. We just need to be willing and listen. So put spirit first. All right, there you have it. The dragons that I met, the practical implications, a brief introduction to what is called new cosmology. Stay tuned for other talks where I talk about what are the cosmic implications of the science of the universe on love, on enchantment, on allurement. I hope I get another chance to talk soon about those things. I want to say, though, again, that the new cosmology, this higher perspective, builds on unity. It just adds another scale. It doesn't. When you have something that evolves like that, it embraces the old and then expands it more. I want to give you a couple examples of how that might affect unity. And one is, I love the phrase that we are the hands and feet of God, right? That the universe works through us. And that is the ultimate, all-consuming container in God. But what if we thought to ourselves, I am the hands and the feet of the universe? The universe is expressing through me, and what I do right now is expressing the love and the intelligence of the universe. Another expression I like is, and you hear this from all the ministers that come back from Unity, you are in the right place in the right time right now. Has anyone ever heard someone say that? All right. When I first heard it, I listed a bunch of expletives because I didn't think it was true. But I do think it's true now that I've done Unity. But instead of just saying, I am in the right place in the right time right now, which, makes me let go of control and fear, what if we said, humanity is in the right place and the right time right now? Like everything that's happening with humanity, that's all planned from the dragon. And we can release concern and fear about the world. One more metaphor that we often use here at Unity is that having a spiritual life saves us from the perspective of a mouse. Like a lot of times we're so busy and we're so chasing cheese that we just have this little perspective of a mouse, right? And that as a spiritual life, we need to rise up to the perspective of the eagle, so that you can see, more perspective. What if we didn't just rise to the level of the eagle, we rose to the perspective of the dragon, rose to the perspective of the whole universe? I mean, looking at the earth from afar, do you see any borders from nations? Do you see philosophical differences? So the more we have that higher perspective, it really can profoundly affect how we show up in our lives. And I think when we do some of those things I just mentioned, we let go of that judgment, it frees up our energy so that we can love more, that we can be more present with people. That judgment that we hold or the fear we hold around the world can really close us down. So the questions I have for you are, where are the challenges in your life where you can ride that cosmic dragon? Where are those crucial moments, those choice points where you're deciding between fear and faith? And maybe next time you'll choose faith. And where in your life, rather than what Arthur was doing, where can you just, okay, this is totally new. I have no idea what I got myself into, but I'm going to rest in the arms of the dragon. All right, we're going to switch, and I want to do a meditation at this point. And there's going to be two parts to this meditation. One is going to be kind of a moving meditation. So you thought you're all going to just sit there and be bystanders, but no. So the first part is going to be a moving meditation, and the second part will be a little guided meditation. So what I want to do is play this one song. And I'll have the title and the singer up here. But it's a really inspiring song, and it's about placing spirit first. And just what I want you to do is when we're going to play this song, and we do have to turn it off for the online people, just for the copyright. But I encourage you to Google it. Just the exact title that you'll see on the screen here. You can even play it on a different browser while we're doing this, and join us. But I want you to move, because the nature of all that cosmic energy is that it loves to move through us. It's just like singing, like Rebecca's, it's like the universe wants to move through us. So I want you to, stand up and just feel, when the song comes on, and just feel the energy and imagine the whole entire universe flowing through you. And what would it feel like to put spirit first? And then after that, we'll go into a little bit of a guided meditation. But if you are planning to move, if you're a mover like me, like a dancer, make sure you give yourself a little space and just be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes I can get really enthusiastic, so just be aware of your surroundings. But if we can go ahead, I guess I'm the person that's going to start that song. And I encourage you to stand up, and it's okay if you don't want to stand up and move, in this whole time, just put your hand in your heart and affirm that this energy that from the song that we're holding in our heart, that our intention is to put spirit first. I'm hoping this will work. All right. Thank you. So happy to see a lot of people moving. Encourage you to take a seat. Now that we've opened all those channels, let's just take a moment for prayer. And thank you, Spirit, for the flow of all that intelligence and that love that we have been part of for literally millions of years. We are so grateful that no matter what is happening in our lives, no matter where we are, that we can stop and connect and receive our divine inheritance, that blessing that nothing can take away. And so we are also grateful that having had this experience, having danced with this dragons, that we will go out into the world and experience more flow and experience more connection, more community. And we will commit to listening to that whisper, watching for those omens, and also listening to our heart, because we know that that is the checkpoint for everything we do. Does this resonate with my truth, my individual expression of Spirit? So thank you, universe, cosmos, for the wonderful story that we are all part of, and help us always remember to keep that larger perspective, that larger community, and help us to transform that into faith and truth and beauty in our lives. Amen. All right, we are going to, that comes to the end of my part, we're going to go ahead and take an offering now. This is an example of a choice point. When you're thinking about how to give, do you want to live a life of service? Are you going to decide to come from a scarcity mindset, or a mindset that I am guided to my fullest and best prosperity? So take it in your heart and give how you are moved. But choose faith, choose flow. And Jack.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Got another
Shake a punch.
a lot of beautiful insights in that talk. It's fantastic. So we freely receive these beautiful insights, but the important part of that is to take them and express them in our lives as we go forward. That's how we're going to change our limitations into prosperity, peace, love, and truth. And that's how we're going to change the world that we share with everyone. So with that thought in mind, and those of you that are watching online, you have all these different ways you can donate to Unity of Boulder to keep these beautiful insights and thoughts flowing in the consciousness of people. And so bring to mind that financial gift you'd like to make to Unity. And everyone here, you can bring that gift to mind, or you can just bring it into your hands. And let's bless that gift with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. Thank you. We have the opportunity to listen to Rebecca share amazing music with us again.
Going down today. Keep loving, keep giving. This may take some forgiving. Don't let them take your power away. No, we can change the world with just one loving thought. We can light each other's way with the love we've got. We've just got to stand up, stand tall. We've just got to rise up and hear the call. change the world. When it all seems lost, keep loving, keep giving, keep getting up when you're down. Do the right thing when no one's around. We can change the world with just one loving thought. We can light each other's way with the love we've got. We've just got to stand up, stand tall. We've just got to rise up and hear the call. We can change the world. Change the when that day comes for my soul to be free, I'm gonna know that if our love and peace is a destiny, we can change the world with just one loving thought. We can light each other's way with the love we've got. We've just got to stand up, stand tall. We've just got to rise up and hear the call. We can change the world with just one loving thought. We can light each other's way with the love we've got. We've just got to stand up, stand tall. We've just got to rise up and hear the call. We can change the world. Change the world.
All right. That's a beautiful way to conclude this beautiful service. I want to thank Steve for filling in. Don't worry anything about Cinticia simply taking the day off. She's got things to put together. She was away last week in Florida visiting her aunt, Norma's sister. They were together visiting her down there. She's facing a physical challenge. And so they were there. So Cinticia got back late last night. And Steve got the nod to get in here, and great talk. Keep it going. Okay, what else have you got to share?
I wanted to challenge people we have these beautiful prayer wheels on either side of the exit of here. And so I encourage you to have another visceral prayer experience by when you go out, go ahead and just grab that prayer wheel and say, "Thank you, Spirit, for all the dragons in my life." And just spin it and feel it. Both sides of the entrances out there.
Okay, we have prayer partners. Those are the people wearing the white scarves. If you have a particular challenge that you'd like to pray with someone about, they are there for you. You just have to remain seated as everyone files out, and they'll come to you. And if you wish, you can go downstairs to our beautiful meditation room and share a prayer together.
I just had a chance to work with the children in the Sunday school, and I always kind of try to talk about the Creator coming through them and connecting to the positive. And what these children were talking about downstairs, they are the children of light for the future. Be proud. You are doing a great job with your children. Thank you.
All right.
And Rebecca, she is amazing. What a voice. What a poetry that you do. What a feeling. Do you have music on the internet that they can purchase? Because, yeah, send them there because this takes you to another place. Okay, so we're going to do I Release and I Let Go.
Yes, we sure are going to do I Release and I Let Go.
And
Okay,
stand
bam.
up and let everybody in the whole city of Boulder hear you. I release and I let go.
Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide.
Yes,
I'm only here
for God.
no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light.
I am
Free in the Spirit.
yes,
I'm only here
for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm
only here
for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Let's hear you.
In
Sing.
the Spirit. Woo! And my heart. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Woo!
Yeah. Are you having a discussion group?
Oh, yes. Discussion group in the back of the sanctuary in like 10, 15 minutes.
Fellowship Hall, pick up some refreshments, and then join the spiritual discussion in the back.
And stay for peace on earth. This is the prayer out. We need to get this prayer out at every service. Okay.